Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Morning Coffee. I got my coffee locked and loaded, ready to go, because we are going to talk about some very interesting topics. And first of all, obviously, we are going to look at the macro situation, and we have some, let's say, developments that are capable of disturb the market. We have a situation where we have to call one or the other a big liar, and that is either the dollar or Bitcoin. We have the secondary bottom signal flashed. We are going to look at that also. We have one specific altcoin in the spotlight, which is GFAL, viewer request, channel member request here from my channel, and we are obviously going to go over all of the good stuff of Veve at NYCC, the upcoming drops, the scarcity, and some other things around it, the new digital comic, and so on. So it's going to be really good, so stay tuned. After the intro, we are going to start right away. So, good morning, every one of you. How are you doing? I hope you're all fine and have your coffee ready. If you haven't yet, then please make sure to smash up the like button as hard as you can, everyone, to get more people here into the live stream, and of course subscribe to my channel. If you watch this later as a video, then make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you think about these topics. What do you think about that specific altcoin? And also make sure to use the timestamps that are usually available a couple of hours after the stream to find your favorite topics. Now, if you want to do more than liking and subscribing and all that stuff, you can become a rare hodler. As you see here behind me on the screen, all the members, rare hodlers of this channel. And yeah, they are supporting me monthly. These are the sponsors of this channel. We do not have any other sponsorships. So if you want to become a sponsor, a rare hodler, then I'm obviously happy about that. And we have the first ones here presenting themselves. Good morning, Felipe. Good morning, Luke. Thank you so much for the constant support. Two people that are always here. So that is really great. So, but with that, yes, everyone who is just getting in here, smash up the like button, please. It helps me so much in these morning hours to get the stream started here. So I don't really want to talk about it, but I have to talk about it. So let's just quickly go over it without any big discussions. Why do I have to talk about it? Because it is obviously capable of moving the markets. That's the reason why we have to quickly go into it. So as we know, on the weekend we have basically Palestine and the Hamas and Israel going at each other. The conflict is going on since a long time, but now it's escalating. We have the US moving in with an aircraft carrier. We have the Israel reacting to attacks with counterattacks and so on. And I really don't want to go into who is wrong or right. This discussion is older than I am, but I just want to make you aware of this is happening. It's capable of moving the markets, although I think it doesn't really have, since it's mostly factored in that stuff like this is happening between the two countries or regions. But if anything out of the ordinary or more heavy is happening, then it has the impact to crash the stock market or to at least have the stock market correct. And whenever that happens, we could see temporary reddish numbers out of crypto. But when it happened, we didn't really see crypto react, so the impact shouldn't be too high unless something is really going out of the ordinary in this conflict. And out of the ordinary, I mean, it's outright war, but out of the ordinary, I mean something unexpected for the markets, right? So yeah, that is happening. But let's go into the real big topics, and I've put this on the thumbnail today. Let's jump right in. So one is a liar, and we have to find out who it is. So you know that we are following Bitcoin closely. We are also following the DXY closely, and you have noted this in the last weeks that we have been really confused about the DXY going up, which is the orange line here, and the Bitcoin also going up, which is the chart line or the candlestick chart here. Both are moving up, and one of them is lying, and the question is who it is. And I quickly want to discuss who that is, because I'm pretty sure I know who it is. I think that the DXY is lying about the big strength, and I think it's not really that the dollar is getting so much stronger at the moment. It's more that the other currencies in the world are weakening and against the dollar. So just a quick recap for everyone who doesn't know it: the DXY, the Dixie, or as some call it, the Dixie, is the dollar calculated against a basket of other currencies in the world. So, for example, the euro, the yen, the yuan, the Brazilian real, and so on. So a lot of important currencies in one basket against the dollar. And whenever the dollar is favored, or those currencies are traded into the dollar is going up, right? But if these currencies in itself get weaker overall, right, then the dollar is also going up. So usually what happened in the stock market and with Bitcoin is that whenever people move out of assets into the dollar and not into the euro and the yen and the real and so on, but really into the dollar is just coiling up. And the assets logically are going down or up if the DXY crashes. So we see it here, for example, people are moving out of the dollar, Bitcoin goes up. People move into the dollar, Bitcoin goes down, right? We always had that correlation. Mostly we had that correlation. Here we see it again. People move out of the dollar, Bitcoin pumps. People move into the dollar, Bitcoin corrects, right? But now people move into the dollar and into Bitcoin. And that the second reason is that why the DXY probably is lying is that people are moving into the dollar out of these weak currencies and into Bitcoin out of these weak currencies for the same reason. And that's actually something bullish, right? So that means that while you're fleeing weak fiat into a stronger fiat, perceived stronger fiat, and at the same time into Bitcoin, that Bitcoin may have found its functionality. We have seen it already when the First Republic Bank and the Silvergate Bank collapsed, that Bitcoin actually saw a strength there when people took out capital of banks and put it somewhere where they perceived it's safer than with the bank, right, or in the fiat system. And last point here to this is we have seen Michael Saylor, for example, coming out and saying, hey, look, I was right all the time to not bet on fiat and to not have anything on fiat, but having it in Bitcoin is way safer. So Michael Saylor is already following that strategy, even though he is a couple of percent underwater with Bitcoin overall at the moment. Had he put his billions of dollars into bonds, for example, he would have a way bigger problem. So actually right now, as the bond market is very unattractive, and only the 3 months bonds are really yielding something that you can bet on that is worth at the moment, you basically see the effect of why these people are going into Bitcoin right now. So I hope that makes sense for you. If it does, smash up the like button. But I think it's really interesting, and we have to find out still who is the real liar. So in the long run, this will go back to correlation. And now the big question is, will the DXY lose its level, or will Bitcoin lose its level, right? and have this divergence here again. Yeah, so I think this is also interesting because the same accounts for 10-year treasury yield and the Nasdaq. They usually go in correlation, and they have depegged, so to say, in the last couple of weeks, like since April basically. So what usually happens is that some goes in the direction of the other to meet again, right? And the question is if we take the Nasdaq here, which we also follow on this channel closely, if we take the Nasdaq here and the Nasdaq is coming down already, will we have a huge crash because of this? This is the big question. And some people say, yes, we will have a huge crash because this is following the 10-year treasury yield. And right now we see it's correcting, but we will see in a couple of minutes on the chart that it's actually not quite following it. As we see it here, we will see that we have already bounced quite significantly here, and that could indicate into the other direction, right? So above all, this, and I showed this in my last video, above all stands that this one here. So it's not a meme stock, it's not a penny stock, and not a crypto coin like any meme coin, altcoin. It's the US government debt, right? Looks like Shiba Inu in the last bull run. So obviously this is a very shrinked scale since the Second World War, but I mean it's still it's the $1 billion debt, and we see it held from Second World War to 1970 something, and basically when they depegged the dollar from gold totally, it held, and then it skyrocketed completely over the last 50 years to 33 billion. Yeah, and as Bitcoin therapist writes here, Bitcoin fixes this. I don't know if Bitcoin is capable of fixing this, but Bitcoin is capable of fixing it for you. So that is the message here. Because the US government is acting like this, or the Fed is acting like this for the US government. So how the Fed works is basically US debt is high, so you need to print more money and create more debt to service the interest rates on the high debt, right? Until you go into absolute failure. But we have seen before that in 2008 and so on, we have seen before that you can really go on a long, long time. And when people are talking about the big crash, for example, Ray Dalio or others, they are talking about the next 20, 30, 40 years. And we don't know. And people assume that when these people talk about those time frames, people assume it's coming right now. Still, I don't know why, but people are still assuming that there cannot be another bull run between the mega crash and right now. But I think that so far the entire environment that we have seen is not crashy enough to have our mega crash right now. So what I think is going to happen is that in the next 6 to 10 months, so to say, the Fed will come back to this here, throwing gasoline into the fire, and basically starting the next bull run by excessive money printing. If you disagree or not, but somewhere the Fed has to do that. Otherwise, you will just look at a year-long shrinking economy, and I don't think that they will let this happen in this current environment. And then after that, other governments have to deal with inflation, like rising inflation again, and new interest rates and so on. But by then, we will already be in 2025, have had our big money printed bull run, and hopefully we are all happy and sitting in something undestroyable from our profits, right? That's at least a bet. So betting on that, we do it by crypto. Others do it in other ways. We do it by crypto. We've got some great on-chain Bitcoin news hot off the press here. So the secondary bottom signal is now confirmed on the UTXOs in loss after the return under the trend. So we see it here. basically this indicator basically shows those wallets in loss, and we see it here with the black swan return lows. Whenever this indicator basically meets a new high, or this high, basically this low point, and the indicator basically meets the return at the same level as the price, then you have your bottom signal, your secondary bottom signal, right? So you have a trend line, and you have a second touch, and then a confirmation breakout. So we see it here. First touch, second touch, confirmation breakout is the secondary bottom in 2015 lows. Then first touch, second touch, C crisis breakout, confirmation, right? And now we have it again, 1, 2, breakout, here, confirmation. So it looks like the parabola of loss has finally ended. The peaks in the past have lined up with events like 2015 return to lows and the 2020 Black Swan, which has surpassed the latest push. After these signals, Bitcoin did not go any lower and marked the end of the return to lows that many are currently waiting for. Is this time different? Yeah, and that's the big question, because when we are looking at all those crash environment and signals, this indicates that for Bitcoin, the move down is done, and that this may be the last chance to purchase any Bitcoin before we move up and up, right? So big question is here, will it be different? I mean, this is a very big macro scale. We also haven't touched the price line quite, but we have come down below the trend line, and that's the real deal, because that means that this breakout and the bottom is complete. And then afterwards you have a fall off here, basically to zero in this UTXO chart, and we have been falling off already. So yeah, as we can see here, you cannot see quite where it is. There it is. Yeah, here we have this breakthrough. So that is just another confirmation of what we have been thinking so far, that probably we are not getting this big crash. And one reason, last point here to this chart, one reason why people, I think, get confused in this, or why they think that such a big drawdown is still coming, is because they basically copy this chart here, and they are looking to see the same pattern as in the last bull run, but they're forgetting that we need a crisis level of the same magnitude as the beginning of the C crisis to really have that, right? And if you look at 2015, you really have just a small drawdown, and then you just have a parabolic move that continues for the next, I don't know, for the next 1.5 years, so to say, until Bitcoin tops out. So what we could face right now is that we go into a parabolic move that obviously has its up and downs and so on, and this will only look in hindsight like a long stretched out parabolic move. We have that, if we get that in Bitcoin tops out somewhere in 2025 in the beginning, and then we have our massive altcoin season, right? So yeah, that is what could be happening here. GM Green Lantern is here from Heidelberg. Dr. GM's still in the gym late today. Hey, happy training, good training. I will be in the gym in my lunch break, but right now we are in the crypto gym. Let's quickly do some market watch, and then we are going to talk about an altcoin that was a request, and I forgot who requested it. I wanted to look at it, but it was in the comments of one of my live stream, if I can look at it, or even in the latest. What can we see? Let's see the last 24 hours. So last 24 hours, the top gainers, Banker Network is up 43% and StoreJ is up 15%. So Banker Network really the only one hardcore exploding. Yeah, maybe you, GFAL. Was it GFAL? Because then yes, we are going to look at it today. But yeah, if not, let me know which one you want to look. Yeah, exactly. We are going to look at it today, and I think it's an interesting one to look at, although I have mixed opinions regarding that one. Oh, by the way, I have to move this over here, but we are going to look at it in a second. Where is it? So, StoreJ. I just quickly want to comment on that one. So StoreJ with a volume of 200 million, which is a lot. Like StoreJ has a lot of volume here, 15% up. StoreJ is a storage solution coin, and we have been talking about Arweave in the last live stream, and StoreJ is one of these storage solutions as well. And we can see here that these projects easily can do some numbers, because actually storage and decentralized storage is one of the biggest topics of the Web3 space. And with the growth of NFT and gaming, which is the topic that we are talking right now, I am equally bullish on the storage solution, decentralized storage solutions for Web3. So if you haven't seen the stream about Arweave, or about everything and then Arweave in the stream, then make sure to check it out after this one. Maybe this could be interesting. Let's also quickly look at the crypto bubbles here to see what's going on. So we are here so we need to go into the top 100, get me out of the way. So we see here red day today for altcoins, couple of altcoins and 2%, but we have really a correction here. TWT on the week is up, but on the day already correcting. Casper correcting, Rollbit correcting. We have where is it? Huobi token correcting, and that is something that we are going to talk about before we talk about GFAL. We quickly talk about Huobi token. Because there's something going on that maybe many people are apparently not aware of. So Avalanche is correcting, and I think Rollbit is the biggest one in the top 100. Let's quickly look into the top 200. So there we have WAX actually going on. StoreJ is leading the charge, and IoTax is also pumping, right? Or pumping on the day, engine up, and so on. But let's quickly look at what's going on with Huobi. So I have found this thread, and I found this thread to be interesting. I hope you do as well. So the web of deception with Justin Sun around Huobi and staked USDT coin and TUSD stablecoin, as well as TUSD relationship with Binance, and the drain of real USD liquidity from crypto ecosystem. So don't be desperate right now that I'm going to read a boring chart, because it's not, or a boring thread. Let me just quickly say what it's about. It's about someone funneling out billions of dollars and giving fake stable coins, or so to say worthless stable coins, out in return. So this is interesting. Will take 2 to 3 minutes to look at, and you should really know it. If you use Huobi exchange, be aware of this going on, and maybe you can save your funds before it's too late. So in late 2022, Justin Sun reportedly acquired a controlling stake in Huobi, now named HTX. So Huobi is named HTX. If you are on this one, you might consider moving funds, which had over 1.5 billion USDT deposits at the time. Over the summer, deposited USDT funds started getting replaced by staked USDT. This substitution has been largely unnoticed by Huobi users. So what is staked USDT? Controlled by Justin Sun, claims to provide a yield by investing in real-world assets such as treasury bills, while the actual flow of funds from Huobi's USDT, staked USDT, and then Just Land DAO indicates that no such investment into RWAs occurs, so real-world assets. We can follow these swaps very clearly on-chain, and let's remember that staked USDT and USDT are considered as the same asset natively on Huobi, as evidenced by their staked USDT trading pairs. So what is happening is someone is giving out staked USDT for invested USDT as basically a proof for that investment. But now it comes. Instead, so it doesn't go into real world assets. Instead, it goes to Just Land under Justin Sun's control, and the USDT is not burned. Huobi wallets have been found to transfer significant amounts of USDT to staked USDT staking contract, then staked USDT circles back to Huobi. So basically, the amount of stablecoin doubles, the value goes by half. As seen in Bloomberg, you can see a shift in Huobi's reserve from July the 1st to September the 15th. On July the 1st, USDT made up 18.8% of reserves, but by September 15, this had dwindled to just 4.7%, while Sun's staked USDT grew to represent 14.5% of reserves. So we see it here, Huobi reserves before staked USDT, and now, we see here the USDT basically not there anymore. So very interesting. And then Huobi's USDT gets staked for staked USDT, which then moves to Just Land, a platform Sun controls. The USDT never invests in real world assets. Here we have it, never invests, but just sits in Just Land, while Huobi users end up with staked USDT instead of the USDT they thought they owned. So I don't know if you can just convert back. If you know about this, then you should. Otherwise, you maybe can trade the staked USDT into something or something like that. But yeah, looking at Just Land, currently there is 1.3 billion staked USDT supply earning 4.23%, with only 15.15k of borrow earning 0.01%. The real world asset story is a lie. So that is interesting. However, it isn't uniquely USDT this happens with, it's also TUSD and so on. You can read the full chart from Dylan Leclerc on Twitter. I think it's important that you know about this. This is why I brought it up. So smash up the like button if you consider this of value. Then please help me with the likes here. Let's see what Jordan says. Jordan Stout says, I bought some CR coin early last run up. It never did much for me. Nobody was interested in a coin attached to a solid project. This was before Doge rocketed. Speculative meme coins took off. CR coin was decentralized storage. It was one of the first. Yeah, that sometimes can happen. The big question is how the tokenomics of CR coin look. To be honest, I don't know how they look. There's also something, for example, Filecoin, where there's much circulating supply, non-circulating supply unlocked, which is why I'm not particularly bullish on Filecoin there, because I always try to find coins that have a fully diluted supply, or a supply that is just not within any unlock wallets anymore. So this is also why I do not like IMX so much. And we are going to look at stuff like this at the coin that we have right now. So upon request, and if you want me to look at a specific altcoin throughout the next live streams, then please let me know. Upon request from Green Lantern, we are going to look at GFAL today. And we have GFAL here. Welcome to Games for a Living. So once again, this is not a partnership. I do not get any money from that. My viewers are my partners. So let's look at GFAL here as a potential play, a very new coin. It has been born in the bear market. We craft innovative, engaging, and timeless games by using the latest technology. So what is GFAL? Just quickly, GFAL is basically a launch pad for or launcher for Web3 games, and it helps building easy integration with NFTs and with in-game currencies that are also cryptos. And they have launched their first game just now, and they're about to launch their second one here, the Diamond Dreams. I think it's an NFT project, but they offer the whole NFT environment. So they offer the NFT marketplace. They offer a functioning layer to the blockchain. They have their own blockchain. So all in all, from a project standpoint, a narrative standpoint, it looks really good, right? They have been featured in some media, right? But just because media mentions you, this is not that's not a partnership or so. It's just Forbes or Reuters, and so have talked about them, right? So let's look a little bit more into it. So GFAL own the next generation of Web3 games. Web3 games with Elemental, Raiders, and Diamond Dreams. These are the 2 games that they have right now. So GFAL is a game development company that offers comprehensive solutions for blockchain. And guys, don't run off and buy this right now, because you want to see the initial analysis until the end, right? So gaming to other game developers. These services are designed to enable developers to quickly and efficiently bring their Web3 games to market. These services include a developer portal. Developer portal is one of the features, right, that helps developers to get started, and also NFT and token creation. So it is really a launchpad for Web3 gaming that is simple to implement. GFAL's purpose to build blockchain. The GFAL chain, right, that's the blockchain. They also provide a marketplace that allows users to buy and sell NFTs and trade in-game currencies, including GFAL platform utility token GFAL. So this is important, because in the end, it's not about what the company does, it's about what the token does for the project. The marketplace will also include a simple-to-use verified digital wallet, so they have their own wallet, plus a bridge for users to easily bridge tokens in and out of the GFAL chain to other chains such as Ethereum, Binance Smart Chain, and Solana. So bridges are always a problematic point, because they are the weakest point to get hacked. GFAL successfully launched the first game, Elemental Raiders, a turn-based hero battler, in November 22, and are now preparing to launch Diamond Dreams, an NFT mobile game. NFT mobile game sounds good, and they have their first project throughout the bear market, so a project that has been born and built in the bear market. That said, if a project is burned and built in the bear market, they have not seen their bull run yet. So this is why they could see some explosive move. But, and now comes the big but, they are already up quite significantly. So overall, they are up 367% already, right? And the market cap is only 26 million euros, so roughly close to 30 million US dollars. But here's my first biggest concern with this. The first one is only 10% of the entire tokens are in circulation. So the fully diluted market cap is close to 300 million, right? So there is a ton. 90% of the tokens are not in circulation right now, and I could not really find information on the unlocks. So this is the first one where I would say be aware. If there is an unlock structure that says you cannot unlock any of the 90% in the next 5 years or so, 5 years would be fine. Then we could ride the bull run on this, and then just in the bull run liquidate our position, right? But there's only 10% circulating. So this is a concern for me. The second one is, okay, we are already up quite a bit, right? If you look at this, basically since the inception, since somewhere at 0.005, this coin is in a bull market. Right now, though, and this is noteworthy in the chart for this coin, we are basically at all-time highs, but we are also in a consolidation phase where we have basically overhead resistance and are if we break this out, we could see some other significant pumps. So what could be a strategy here is, if you want to get in this token, in my opinion, and there are only a couple of exchanges that it's on, what could be a strategy is basically we would get into this token on breakout, right? And I mean, this is somewhat like a where is my line? This is somewhat like this, right? Running out of room. Get into a breakout, have a pump, whatever the pump looks like, and then move out of the position with your initial investment and just start stacking this coin on every breakout as a moon bag, right? So that you basically, if this starts losing out, that you cannot lose anymore, right? So meaning that you make 100% gain on the breakout, you move 50% out of it, and it's just a moon bag, right? This could be one strategy, but I just want to highlight one more point here on this coin, and that is, in the article I saw this, so they describe all their games and so on, and then they go into the team. So this is good because the team is fully doxed, right? This is good. Usually this protects you from a big rug pull. The team is fully doxed. It's a young, or mostly young team of people that really look like gamers and boomer gamers, right? So that's good for a gaming project, Web3, Launchpad, whatever. Now, what I don't like is this here. So the highly skilled team at GFAL has decades of experience in the industry and comes from world-class background in Web2 gaming, coming from amazing game studios such as King, Digital Chocolate, and Activision Blizzard. Now, I was obviously listening up very carefully here because they said we're coming from Blizzard. Okay. And now, who is coming from Blizzard? And that is Christian Gascons is apparently coming from Blizzard. So Christian Gascons, the CEO of the COO, so the Chief of Operation of GFAL, is ex-Blizzard Entertainment. It has a background in video games. Okay, so I was curious about this guy, and this is only one because there's another, Mark Tormo. And I went to LinkedIn and I looked at Christian Gascons, COO of this, and look at that. He was at Blizzard for 10 months as a customer support specialist. And this is not, like, if someone says ex-Blizzard and game development experience, a customer support specialist, nothing against customer support, but a customer support specialist for me is not a game developer, right? So maybe we can look at the other one. The other one here is Mark Tormo. So let's look at this. Yeah, at GFAL, Mark Tormo. Let's look at him and see. Yeah, so he was question and answer at Blizzard Entertainment, apparently, right? If that means QA, for 5 years, right? That's better. He was not only 10 months in, but he was like 5 years in, and then they have founded this Frozen Shark together, the two, right? But I don't really like this. If you say, "Oh, this guy is ex-Blizzard," right? Yes, he is ex-Blizzard, but I mean, for example, if I'm cleaning the toilet at Apple, then I'm ex-Apple, right? It doesn't get me qualified, right? So and I think these are the only ones that are Blizzard, right? Yeah, these are the only two that are Blizzard, and both have not worked at Blizzard in the gaming environment. So that is my negative point here for that. That doesn't mean that they are doing a bad job, in no way. It's just that this article and probably brought out by them is leveraging Activision Blizzard, and then these guys are basically working in customer support. Yeah, so yeah, I don't really know if I'm doing if this is a wrongdoing for him, because for me QA is question and answer. That would be like I write a support form and someone answers, right? So yeah, I don't really know, and this is probably denominated just like that exactly because of that reason. But I'm suspicious about that, and I'm sorry if I have to, that I have to do it like this. But yeah, that's my honest view on this. So sum it all up, it looks like a very interesting project, and I'm overall inclined to say that this is probably doing really, really good in the next bull run. But my overall thing would be to build a moonbag on this when it's not on exchanges. So yeah, probably the time to get in was before, but even if we would want to be getting in at all-time highs right now, probably I would want to build a position and then have it as a moonbag. So get out of the position as soon as I'm 100% in profit with my initial investment. And then we don't fall in love with GFAL. Then in the bull run, we liquidate the entire position, right? And we do not sit on the back and hope for something big to come around the corner for them. For me, that would be my way to approach this. I will think about if I build a smaller position on this, but I have no GFAL whatsoever. This was a request by a viewer. Anyways, if you like this, then please let me know. Please let me know in the comments or right now other coins to look at. And let's move on with the stream here because we have been losing time. I quickly want to go in the charts because there's something interesting for the overall market cap. And that's really something that I wanted to talk about. Let's go into the weekly. So if this is a new chart here, or not a new chart, but this chart looks like Bitcoin, but it's not. It's the total crypto market cap. And what I wanted to highlight here is that this moving average works as a support, as bull market support, right? Since the inception of this chart. And right now, the problem is that, and where we really have to see how it plays out, is that we are under the support and we just bearishly retested it once again, or once more. We have been under here, and this is why this secondary bottom that I mentioned in the beginning for crypto could be interesting, right? If we come up, this could be our confirmation. If we break this is our confirmation probably to not come back under it again. And this is where we are bull run ready, in my opinion. So just to see this, here we have a lot of confluence here on this, and revisiting the downside of this, in my opinion, is not so much of a problem, right? We have seen it here, and now we are under it again. But if we break it to the upside, that's for me the go signal, right? And as long as we are under it, for me, that's the accumulation signal. However, if we start to significantly lose this and lose, basically our real support, and the real support band, we can draw it in, I think. The real support band is obviously where we have our touches. We need a curve for this. Let's try it like this. So we go here, and then we go here, and then we put this on. Yeah, this doesn't work quite well. So we need to really modulate, so the curve doesn't react as I wanted to. So maybe like this, and then like this. Yeah, it's not. How can I do this? Okay, something like this. But the real support should, it's almost a line, right? Maybe we can just fix this with a line. But the real support should be something like this, right? Yeah, something like this. So yeah, it's also not a line. So maybe I have to draw it at some point, but it's really difficult to draw on TradingView a straight line. So you get my point, right? Maybe I can find some indicator that is the support band for this. But anyways, you get the idea, right? So the real support is basically the touch of all of these, right? This is something like this. Yeah, I think that looks good. So the real support is this, right? So if we come back to the support and start losing this level, even though this is high, right? This is higher than the low. Even though we would lose this level, then I would be really, really concerned. Real J Fox, by the way, is here. Good morning to you. And Green Lantern says, good analysis. Thank you. Thank you so much for the recommendation. And I'm really happy to look at these because I'm also learning quite a bit about this, about the coins there. So DXY, we have talked about this in the beginning. Actually, there is something interesting happening here in the daily. We have seen a significant drawdown and a bounce directly at the line that we have been drawing in weeks and weeks ago. So this uptrend is still active for the DXY. So you see really how this is coiling up, and now this bounce is picture perfect on the line. So probably more upside for the DXY. Probably making us take longer, but we have seen also Bitcoin correlation in the beginning. Bitcoin is coiling up no matter what, which is a good thing, right? Nasdaq has seen also a bounce here, and we will see how Nasdaq reacts right now. But Nasdaq has really seen a big bounce here in the threat of losing this level. And if we look at the weekly, we see that this level is very accurate for Nasdaq here. This one, we have not lost it. Candle closes are all above it. This is the level, but we are forming mountain ranges. So what really could be happening is this, right, for the Nasdaq. And if it happens, my view is that we will have a crash, right, in the Nasdaq. If this happens, there is a crash. The other side of the story is that you could just form something coiling up, right? And then you break out to the upside. So we will have to see how this plays out, and this will play out until Christmas, more or less, I think. Yeah, until Christmas it should be playing out. We will know. Now, this is obviously not the most important. The most important is how Bitcoin is doing, and to be honest, Bitcoin is not super interesting. There is something like an inverse head and shoulders playing out at the moment. Sorry for all the numbers and things, but in a second you can see. So we have been discussing this. The last 2 weeks are just the most boring weeks I probably have seen in a long time. Look at this. So this week and the last week, we are trying to break this moving average upper resistance plus this mega resistance, and if we break it, and I think that could be happening, then it's go time. However, and the indicator plays into this, right? So we are not overbought in the slightest. However, this is also a decision point, because if we get rejected here, if we do something like this and we complete this, then also we are looking at more downside. But if we break this to the upside, I think really we are going to rally hardcore, right? Really hard. And if we rally really hard, that would be wonderful, right? If we can not do a head and shoulders here, that would be really great. If we instead can do something like a double W shape and break out, that would be awesome. Now, we will have to wait and see, right? With that said, let's quickly look at Ecomi, because also of the time. Let's look at Ecomi, the Ecomi token analysis here. There's also not too much to say about Ecomi since the weekend. We are in this beautiful pattern. Ecomi is looking strong. I think that, for example, if we are talking about these altcoins, for me, 1 to DCA is Ecomi at these price levels. I will probably buy some more Ecomi during this week, a little bit more. I don't know how much, maybe 100, 200k Ecomi or so here and there. But overall, Ecomi is looking really strong. We have discussed the inverse head and shoulders more, that potential inverse head and shoulders with a breakout target to 017, like 0017, right? Revisiting this here and then form just a bigger structure. I think it can happen until Christmas that we test this. It can happen in November, actually, something like that. Can happen sooner, can happen later. What do you think about the audition physical comic from Veve? We are coming to that in a second, so just let me finish this one here. But we are coming to this in a second. So because the article is out now. So this, if we break this line, I think we have a huge pump in front of us, but I think we are going to coil up slowly and steadily to this. This would be the perfect storm for Ecomi. Nothing more to say, nothing has changed, and actually we can go over this quickly in that scenario. Now, let's go to exactly what Felipe says here. So you are one passionate, crazy Veve community. So Veve is going into the Comic Con, and the article's out, right? So Marvel New York Comic Con 2023 exclusives is one thing. So we have the Marvel drops here in one article, which is the here's the poster, very scarce this time because they have learned from the last San Diego Comic Con poster, which was not selling out. Hey Energy, what's going on? Only 600 for 30. I'm still not going for it probably. Then we get the Kingpin, which is 2,500. I think that's too much. They should have done it a little bit less. And then we have the Grail of those days, which is the X-Men comic, around about 800,000 worth in the highest grades, with hero variants here, and this cover is, if you hit that, that's pretty big deal, right? And this is a 10,000 mint run, which was expected at the 20 gem price point, also expected. That will be it will sell out, in my opinion. It will sell out for sure, and that will be a $200,000 return for Ecomi, right? Or for Veve. Now, some people have said that they don't like the mint numbers. I don't like the mints on Professor X and on Kingpin, and also not on Magneto. Way too high, in my opinion. So I will just skip these and wait for secondary. But yeah, that's basically these numbers. Then quickly this comment here, because I have raised the question why Orbis took out the technology name, and Alex G said here, because Orbis, not only blockchain technologies limited, was too long. Digital collectibles, physical comics, and more, right? So they are really teasing this here, and here we have the debut that is coming up right now is the Addiction, is one of Veve's first forays into the physical comic world. So yeah, exactly what we wanted to see, that Veve is becoming a publisher for comics, and hopefully they one day can become a publisher for Marvel, because they actually are bringing a big chunk of revenue for Marvel, drops digitally on Veve, and then get the details on the exclusive physical variant covers and more. So let's look at this as well. So the physical variant covers and the digital ones are here. So apparently there's red and blue. This has some Pokemon vibes, by the way, red and blue, just for the memes. The Addiction, what do you call a superhero who can alter her blood chemistry and so on? This is a story that is not a Marvel story, if I recall this correctly. Visitors to NYCC's booth 3537 can meet the creators and purchase comics and merch featuring The Addiction. We are premiering 18 limited edition variants of issue number 1. The NYC variants have features like embossing foil, holofoil, virgin covers, and Veve variants. Very interesting that there are specific Veve variants. Yeah, and first of all, coffee, as energy says here. So let's take a sip of the coffee here. So here we have the variants, and then I've seen the holo variant somewhere, but why didn't they put the holo foil variants in here? I've seen a video of them being signed. So maybe we get into this here quickly, because I think this comment says it mostly all. So let's listen to this quickly together.
And the story behind it. I'm curious about how you heard about Veve.
I love the Veve community. I'll tell you my first experience learning about Veve. I was at a Gary Vaynerchuk convention in Minneapolis, VCon, and a potential client, walked up to our booth. We were there promoting our businesses and showing off the comic books that we had for sale. And the client walked up and pointed to a Daredevil Comics #1 and said, "I own that book." I said, "Oh, that's really cool. Great. You're a comic collector. You know, we've been meeting a lot of people who are into digital collectibles, but not many, comic book collectors." And he said, "Yeah, let me show it to you." And he pulled out his phone and opened up the Veve app and showed me the book.
And guys, quickly, this right there is the reason why I'm collecting comics on Veve most of all of them, because this is such a big collector scene, and these people, they are crazy about the comic itself, and they have proven to pay massive amounts of money for it. So in my opinion, comics are the biggest chance on Veve, in my opinion, just because of the reason that he just said.
And he said, "Yeah, I own it right here." And I was like, wow, that's absolutely fascinating. A couple months later, I was at another convention, and another client came up to the booth telling me how he collects the comic books digitally and that he wanted to start collecting them in print. And I just thought this was absolutely fantastic and amazing, because I see it as an opportunity to reach so many more people. And the more I learned about Veve and the philosophy and the community that they've developed over time, the more I realized that this was just the right place for us. We want to make the world of the addiction as accessible as humanly possible. And that's why we felt Veve was the perfect partner.
You know, it's really exciting to hear you talk about digital collectibles like that. And I think there's a misconception from a lot of physical collectors that, no one's going to accept the digital space. But it's interesting because the more people that I talk to that collect massive amounts of things, the more digital collecting makes sense to them, because kind of like my backdrop here, and I'm just a small-time collector, there's only so much space.
Corey, I couldn't agree with you more. I think there are so many things about digital collectibles that make them incredibly appealing to people. Now, you have to understand, I come from the background where I am really a print comic book collector. I collect comic books from the Golden Age, the Silver Age, the Bronze Age, the Copper Age, all the way up to modern times. I have an inventory of over 150,000 books, and it takes up a lot of space. I also have my own personal collection, which takes up a lot of space. Now, the thing I love about digital is you have it on your phone.
Yeah, so that's only a fraction of the entire video. I think the full one is published on Veve, but Ed here posted this part, and I think it's really great because it captures why comics on Veve is so big. And as far as I recall it, these are not yet physical linked to digital, but I think that would be the next step. And as Jordan says here, it's great to see Veve branching out. I still would like to see more mainstream marketing. It still seems, and by the way, why I'm not following Gary V. Here we go. The thing is that Veve will, I hope that they will use the bull run to make marketing, because they probably have to do the marketing in the digital and the Web3 space, and there's just no sense in burning money in the marketing right now, as there are only like 80 to 100,000 really actively engaged crypto people on YouTube and so on. So maybe and hopefully the marketing machine goes off once we are confirmed in the next run up. And I think that would be a good chance to to go into this one, right? Yeah, so basically we have this comic here. There's I don't know if there's any big, so here's the numbers for the digital. So actually there's only 6,500 total editions for $6.99. So probably just because this is the first ever Veve drop, I will go for this in the wait list. Yeah, and I think the idea is really good, but yeah. Arcade Collector Europe says, "Sir, yeah, what's going on, sir? How are you doing?" Yeah, but that's basically it. So we do not have really an information whether and how these are linked. So I assume that they are not linked at all. It says here's a little bit of marketing. Purchase your exclusive Veve variants at NYCC booth. So I will check if someone is going and can purchase one for me. That would be great. But yeah, I'll have to see. So otherwise I will have to see if I can, if I can get in touch with anyone else, or if any one of you is going to NYCC and can grab one for me, that would be also really good. But yeah, I think it's a great thing, as Jordan said. Veve branching out into the stuff is a good idea. But anyways, we're already over 1 hour, so I am really asking you to smash up the like button once more. And Arcade says, "I am fine, just chimed in. Have we covered the games for a living token already?" Yes, we did. We covered the games for a living token. It's not upcoming. JKRB says, "PH, you going to France this January? I heard Veve is going." If Veve is going, then probably I have to plan that one. I don't know if this is confirmed already, but yeah, probably that would be a point for me where I definitely would go, because I want to meet the people from the team, see who's angry at me because of bear market videos. But yeah, I really want to go meet every one of you as well that are going to France. Do you know the dates, JKRB? That would be the big question. No, Arcade, if you want, you can go a little bit back. It should be somewhere around 20 to minute 40 or something like that. Otherwise, I will put timestamps during the day into the live stream, and then you can revisit this later on. Did a little bit of a background check on some people and so on. Yeah, Philippe asked where in France. I have no idea. JKRB says, "Yep, Mr. Yu confirmed it himself during the Germany community meetup." Oh, that is great. Paris. Yeah, I will for sure, says Arcade. That would be great. So everyone who goes to France, we can schedule a meetup. And if we know the exact dates, so I mean, he confirms that he's coming, but I don't know when are the exact dates. So maybe we can schedule something like a journey there, and then have this one. I can do a live stream from there with you guys, so no one's in the chat anymore. Everyone is in the video. But yeah, that could be a good idea. South of Paris. 7-hour drive for me. Yeah, if that would be, maybe I would go by plane, right? Do we see 100+ X on GFAL? Gala made several thousand X's. I don't know. I'm not quite sure about that. Watch my analysis, because I'm not so... Yeah, the whole Blizzard thing is just questionable, right? But watch the analysis, you will see. Can we do a 100x on every altcoin? That is such a small market cap. You technically can do a 100x. The question is just how much of the 90% locked up supply they will dump into the market while this is happening, right? So we will have to see. But I mean, if you speculate on 1,000x, $100 can make you rich, right? So yeah, why not? maybe I put some couple of hundred in and then take my initial investment out and just ride the rest as a moonbag. And if it goes to zero, then it is what it is, right? But yeah, that's the plan. Guys, make sure to smash up the like button. Unfortunately, I have to go into the hamster wheel, earn some money, because those 100x gains did not come in yet. But yeah, as soon as we know where we have to go in France, we are going to plan our journey. But until then, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon. And I see you in the next live stream tomorrow at Crypto Morning Coffee. Bye everyone, have a good one, enjoy your coffee.